Welcome back. Yesterday, we went in depth on the hotly debated I-49 intercity connector, what the proposed routes are and how supporters feel about it. But one of those routes cuts through Allendale, a historic neighborhood on the outskirts of downtown Shreveport. It's a place longtime residents say is a community on the rebound. But they also tell us a proposal for an interstate project could destroy everything they've been working towards. I sat down with those neighbors to learn more about a community's fight to save the place they call home in this Arklatek's in-depth report. Years ago, Dorothy Wiley left New Orleans post-Katrina, eventually finding her way to Allendale in Shreveport.
Coming out of New Orleans, that was a natural disaster.
But she says she's afraid there's a new disaster at her doorstep, this time man-made. What does this place mean to you?
I've been through enough trauma. I'm settled. I want to be situated, you know. I'm tired of uprooting and going and leaving.
She's talking about the proposed 3.5-mile cut through Allendale for the I-49 connector project. And while it clearly has the city taking sides, groups in Allendale are trying to make strides in revitalizing their community, despite the uncertainty.
Allendale has a lot to offer. I believe that people in Shreveport need to get a vision for their city so they'll know what they have and what they can work with.
Wiley helps spearhead the group Loop It, which supports the idea of I-49 looping around the city using Highway 3132. They hold monthly meetings for residents to voice concerns.
I have a daughter, a young girl, she's 9 years old. It's selfish in that I want her to have a place that she can call home.
We got to take pride in our neighborhood.
There are 4 options, as well as a no-build alternative being discussed at public meetings this week.
The last round of meetings, a large majority of the public came out and asked about using 3132 as a possible option.
And instead of the interstate cutting through their neighborhood, Wiley and her neighbors have an idea to turn that path into an economic boulevard.
I remember many years ago, we had full-service gas stations, barber shops, beauty salons, cleaners. So this place can be where we can thrive again.
The boulevard would start at I-49 and I-20 at Murphy Street, running along Pete Harris and North Market.
You can have biker paths, you can have walking paths, you can have bike shops, you can have antique shops. We can put up restaurants.
They would need to put resources into building up this current corridor that leads up to I-49.
We could repurpose that to be a part of the local business boulevard.
Traffic that wants to get on by can get on by. And the truckers that are on the road and they're doing business, not going to stop, come on around us.
But the only way to make this feasible, Wiley says, is with support from city leaders. And that can't happen until a decision is ultimately made on the final path of I-49. John Perkins helps Wiley run the social media push to highlight what their group is doing. They've also started a petition to keep I-49 out of the neighborhood.
Intercity connectors were an experiment in the late 40s and the 50s, and they found out that it didn't clean up the blight, it just changed the blight.
Tell me about your experience here in this Allendale community.
Well, it's unfortunate how things happen.
That's Wiley's neighbor, Louis Brissett. He lives in one of the 40 homes built by the Fuller Center for Housing, a partnership with Community Renewal International and Habitat for Humanity to revitalize Allendale.
They were God sent. New life, new birth from what we had.
Some of the proposed routes slice right through his house. He says he doesn't want the very homes they built to be torn down.
We have faith in God that things is going to work out.
Another Fuller Home recipient, Terry Thrash, had the opportunity to build her home with her own hands.
I'm really disturbed the fact that someone would want to come tear down what's being built up, still continuing to be built up. It's houses down the street that are being built.
Across the street, neighborhood leaders run 2 friendship houses, helping local youth and adults with after-school programs and GED classes. There's even a community garden. And the Fuller Center turned an old building into a community grocery, the first in Allendale that doesn't sell alcohol.
Growing up, you heard of gangs, you heard of fights, but you also heard of good things.
Basically, we have made this community viable again. And even though in the beginning it appeared to be a hopeless neighborhood, but a lot of hope has come in here.
Thrash says she hopes their ideas for an economic boulevard can break the stigmas of Allendale.
I feel like it'll be really connecting the neighborhoods instead of dividing them. We still have a lot of work to do, and I feel like I see us growing.
But Councilman Willie Bradford, whose district includes Allendale, says the big picture for I-49 is the future of economic growth in Shreveport.
Whereas they are looking at their little individual community in their little house area, the council and the city leaders have to look at the totality of this project. How would it impact our neighborhoods, and then how it would be a benefit to the city as a whole.
But for many Allendale residents, they say it's not about having nowhere to go. It's about wanting to stay in a place they call home.
We don't want to leave. We want this place to thrive.
You know what is good about this community? The support in this community. We support each other.
People that don't know won't understand, but it's real and it's love.
Now, the Fuller Foundation plans to build 4 more homes in Allendale later this year. The last I-49 project public meeting was held tonight, but you still have time to leave a written comment through the project's website. You have until February 8th to get those in. Now, you can find more information on our website, ktbs.com.